The time is flying fast, and the song today is very beautiful. And in Hindi, the song is ये वक्त जा रहा है वो वक्त आ रहा है करना है जो भी कर ले ये वक्त जा रहा है. So this time is flying away, the new time is coming, and whatever you have to do it now. That's the message of the song. And this beautiful song is telling us that it is time for settling karma now, because now time won't wait. We have to go back home, and for going back home we need to hurry up. Hurry up for what? Hurry up to make our pilgrimage of the intellect faster. So we have to remember Baba more intensely, for longer hours. Our attention should be on Baba's remembrance all the time, so that we can absolve our sins and go back home. Because there are two ways to be pure. One is by absolving our sins through Baba's remembrance. Another method to be pure is through punishment. But which father on earth would choose that his children get punishment? So Baba never. So Baba says that yes, if you don't listen to me, then obviously there will be punishment through which there will be this purging, and the soul will be purified and you will go back home. But Baba says, for my children, I don't wish that they should receive punishment and go. So for you, I direct, I instruct, I tell you that you must absolve your sins through my remembrance. So this is primarily what Baba is saying today. And there are some things which need to be understood in this context of sins and absolving of sins. So today we will understand three things. A, how are sins created? So how is the burden of sin accumulated? B, how does it manifest itself? And C, how do we finish it? So from Baba's Murli, I would like to talk very clearly about these three things. So how are sins created? So we know that for two ages, the golden age and the silver age, there is no Maya. So there are no vices in the world. And then from the copper age, vices enter. Okay, that's the plan of the drama. So when vices enter, then what happens is, when vices enter, the soul becomes weak. Yes. And when the soul becomes weak, then your thoughts, your mind, your intellect, and your sanskars, they start functioning in a weak manner. Yes, they don't. So your mind doesn't create powerful thoughts all the time. Your buddhi doesn't discern and decide well, and your buddhi is not. So your buddhi is not accurate. Your buddhi is not knowledgeful, and then the sanskars also, the weak sanskars start to emerge, because there are vices in the soul and the soul has become weak. And then weak souls perform bad actions. Okay, and how are actions performed? Actions are performed through the mind, through the body, through wealth. Yes, so there are three methods mainly for performing actions: tan, man, and dhan. So through the mind you perform actions, actions of thoughts, actions of attitude, actions of actions of feelings. So these are all, when you create a thought, when you create a feeling, when you hold an attitude, all of that is an act. Then there are acts of the body. So eating, drinking, engaging, all of that is actions of the body. Seeing, hearing, all of that you do through the body. Or karma, give and take, you do through the body. And then there are actions performed through wealth. So you use your wealth in something or the other. So where you invest your wealth and how you earn your wealth. These are two important methods through which actions are performed through wealth, because actions are performed in earning wealth and actions are performed in spending wealth. So how you earn your money and how you spend your money, that's an aspect of karma. So what happens is, when the soul is weak, then a weak soul performs bad actions under the influence of vices. So vices are dictating your man, buddhi and sanskar. And then under the influence of those vices, whatever you think, whatever you decide, whatever acts you perform through the mind, body and wealth, they start becoming what we call vikarma. Yes, and so just think about, you see, how Maya makes us perform bad actions. So there is this one sister, and I've been seeing her for the last 6-7 years, and she came to Baba 6-7 years back, and ever since she came, she's always been this person who will keep blaming someone or the other for her problems, for her life. And always there is this blame. First take one person, blame them, then leave them, go after the other, and then blame them. So this has been going on. This is a pattern. And she took gyan, but she never came to that awareness where I am a soul. That sanskar of bhakti is so deep that it's always about what I'll get, what I'll meditate and get this, or the business will go well, or the children will study well. So it's always about blessings. They give blessings, take blessings from Baba, but she's not taking blessings. It's always about that attitude of a beggar seeking blessings. And this blame, this habit of blame, she didn't get over it, and now she has many problems and she blames everyone for it. So what I'm trying to tell you is that when we are weak, we use this instrument of blame. So especially this blaming, taking sorrow, or getting angry, or going into right and wrong, going into I am right, you are wrong. All these are the all these are the things that Maya puts into our buddhi. So so basically, if you look at the truth is, nobody is to be blamed for anything. Yes, you always have a choice, right? So you always have a choice. So you do what you are meant to do, you do what you choose to do, and if you choose to do something, why blame somebody for it? Even when a child is born into a family, that's also an aspect of his karma. So the child cannot say that, I was a child and treated badly, so my parents are to be blamed for it, because that child gets this family or this, this system or this arrangement because of the karmic balance they have. And there are studies in the world. I'm not only talking about Baba's Gyan, but even in the world there are studies and past life regressions which reveal that when a soul leaves the body, they choose their next body. Yes, you choose your next body. And why do you choose what you do? Because that's what you can choose according to your sanskar. So the thing is, people, when we tell them that you choose your own body based on your sanskar and your karma, they will say, no, if I had a choice, I would choose the best. But today you have a choice. Are you choosing the best? You are choosing what you deserve, So one thing is you get what you deserve, but you also choose what you deserve, because your buddhi, your choices are also limited by you. So if I have done vikarma, then I don't have that swaman, I don't have that confidence that I can get the best. So I will always choose what I think I deserve. So this is something that we don't understand. So basically there is no reason to blame anyone for anything, but we keep doing all these things, and our mind works in funny ways, and the way our buddhi tells us that this is right, this is wrong, this one is inferior, that one is superior. All this is Maya's game. So when we are depleted, then Maya takes over, and we perform bad actions through body, mind and wealth. But it is because of our inner state of being. And then we keep doing that. So what the important point to note here is that actions are always performed through the body, mind and wealth. But the karmic account that is incurred by the soul. So the soul's account of credit and debit is based on the actions you perform through body, mind and wealth, right? So and then through body, mind and wealth, you come into relationships also. So when you are speaking ill through the body, so your mouth is hurling abuses, then there is a recipient also who is taking those abuses, correct? So there is a person who is taking that abuses, and whether they take it or not take it, that is their karma. But whatever you are doing is your karma. But whose karma? The karma of the soul. And the karmic account that the soul incurs because of this is an individual karmic account. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you don't have a karmic account with someone. You create a karmic account when you are in interaction with someone. Yes, in that interaction you are creating that karmic account, but that karmic account is a very individual thing. It's your karmic account. All right. So when I use my body, mind and wealth, when I come into interactions, when I think, when I speak, when I engage, when I work, with all of that, in doing all of that, I am creating a karmic account. But that karmic account is not with that person, it is my karmic account that I am creating while interacting, I am creating while working. So it's not like I created a karmic account with you or with the work I did. Do you get it? So it's a very individual thing that I am creating. So my karmic debit or credit is shifting according to that. And when we come to the copper age and we start being influenced by Maya, then our mind, our buddhi, our sanskars are not working accurately. So obviously we are doing many things which is creating a negative karmic account. And we can't help it because that's the plan of nature, that's the plan of drama. Okay, so that keeps happening. And we keep taking sorrow, giving sorrow, blaming, and through ego we put someone down. In our own minds we keep comparing, criticizing. Just think about this uh, habit of comparison. So in your own mind you're putting yourself down all the time. All the time, you're telling yourself you're not good enough, that one is better than you, or they are doing better than you. And then you keep asking why, which is an endless question. And you keep doing all of this because that's what Maya makes you do. So all the time comparison, all the time criticism, all the time competition. I have to go faster than them, I have to do better than them. Why better than them? You can do the best, but you never think about doing the best because you're always stuck doing better than someone. So, and your whole energy is blocked in that competition. And then you see, in that competitive state, in that state of comparison, what is the quality of the thoughts and feelings that you're creating all day? And just imagine what will be the quality of a life of a soul who is creating this quality of thought and feeling all day. And there's this one brother, and he told me, I'm very positive. And then for the next half an hour, he kept telling me how the world is unjust and how, everyone's business is prospering except him, and how God is unfair and how the universe is unfair. And I told him, are these the only positive thoughts that you take all day, or is there some more? So this is the only positive thinking you do all day, is it? So he said, no, I'm a very positive person. I said, no, that's not positive. It is your own mind space and you're filling it with this kind of a garbage because you think competition is natural, you think comparison is natural, you think anger is natural, you think resentment is natural. Yes, so Maya is a magical programming that happens because the vices enter. So, when the vices enter the soul, then they cast a shadow on your thinking, on your realization, your understanding, and that's called Maya. Maya is kind of an illusion which doesn't let you see what is what, which doesn't let you know what is what. It just makes you think in very funny ways. So Maya is the vices, the influence of the vices on the soul. And then this is what we keep doing. But just underline that in all of this, you act through the body, mind and wealth. You create karma in interaction with souls and doing work while you're doing work. So when you're sitting on your own also, you create karma. When you are dealing with people also, you create karma. When you're doing work also, you create karma because you are thinking, speaking, acting, exchanging, give and take is there, all that is happening. And then when you earn money, by causing sorrow, or you waste money because you're motivated by greed, or by wanderlust, or by lust, or just sensual pleasures. So all that creates pap karma. So when your vices are motivating your expenditure, so when your vices are motivating how you earn your money and how you spend your money, that is what creates pap karma or vikarma. And then what happens is, slowly, gradually, the karmic burden starts increasing. Okay, so but it is an individual karmic account. You are not creating a karmic account with someone. Okay, so you do the karma through the body, through mind, through wealth, while coming into relationships, while doing work, but your karma. And then when we reach this this lowest point that we call Kali Yuga, and we are in the lowest state of our consciousness, then then this day of judgment comes, this Kayamat ka samay, or this time of settlement. And what we are going through right now is the time of settlement. And of course, settlement happens from Dwapar Yuga onwards, but at this time it is very profound. And all your negative karmic account starts manifesting itself into your life. Yes, and what is the way in which it manifests? So again, when the karmic account comes back, it has to come back through something. Just like, a soul creates karma through something. So a soul creates karma through the mind, through the body, through interactions, through work, through exchange, right? Similarly, the soul also experiences the effect of karma through many things. But it is the individual karma of the soul. So, sometimes your mind is your problem. So, sometimes the mind will just go crazy. And there are souls who tell me these days that I cannot not think for even a second. So, all the time my thoughts are just running and speeding up, and they are all negative and very disturbing, and I can't help it. Even tranquilizers are not helping. So, this is the state. So, the karmic account is coming back through the mind. It's coming back through the body. Through the body, so, there are so many illnesses and so many pains and aches, and these days you have this big thing called autoimmune, where your whole body is working against you, and your whole system is eating you up, and you can't do anything. Cancers, this, that. What is a cancer? Cancer is your own body becoming your enemy. So, your own cells are working against you, and these things start happening because this is all karmic settlement. And you see that as time is going, as we are moving towards more of this Kayamat ka samay, this time of settlement, there are newer diseases coming. So this COVID wave came, and just people just suffered and suffered and suffered, psychologically, physically, every which way. Their lungs suffered, their mind suffered, their body suffered, everything suffered, because this is how the time of settlement is like. Then there is settlement that comes through relationships. So, all your emotions will start dancing up and down for souls who have no love for you. and all the toxic sanskars, and the souls that have all these these impure sanskars, you will start attracting them in your life, and then then you cannot cope up with their sanskars, and then your heart is somewhere and your sanskars are somewhere, and then you will keep fighting with your head and heart. So your head says that I don't want to be in this relationship, and your heart says, chhod ke to dikha. So can you leave this person? So this is what starts happening. So all this, you will, so there is beating, there is torture, there's financial abuse, so many things happening, because it is all karmic settlement coming through relationships. And the most bizarre of things are happening, and we are listening to these stories every day, but you all know it, so there is no point mentioning. So these things are happening. And then there is karmic settlement coming through money. So, lack of finances, or you cannot buy things, you cannot find opportunities, you cannot do things which you intend to because there is no money. So that's also a kind of settlement that comes in. Okay. And then situations in general, you're just you're just walking down the road and you get into a legal hassle. So I remember there was this brother, and he said that let me tell you what a karmic settlement looks like. So I said, yeah, tell me. So he said, I went to a party on, so we were a group of friends, and we thought going up this hill and partying there would be a good idea. And we went there, and then there was this person whose bike was parked, and I was in a car, and I had my friends with me, and I was the one driving. And then that my car touched the bike, and the bike was parked, and it fell, and then something broke. And then I offered that person some money, but he said, I will only see you in court, and I love this bike, and you cannot damage it just like that, you have to be careful, and this and that. And he said, I will see you in court. And this fellow who was the bike owner happened to be the person of somebody who is very well connected in the legal circle. And then he said that they confiscated my driving license, and it's been 5 years I have not got my driving license back, and there are 7 cars parked in my parking lot, and I cannot drive one of them. So I take the metro, and I take the bus, and I take lifts and rides, and 5 years I've been doing this, and there are 7 cars in my parking lot, and Didi, I cannot drive the car. And that person just refuses to give back my driving license. So he says, I will not. And cases are, they keep, they are pending for so long. So he said, that is not settling, so what do I do? So this is how all of a sudden you will have a karmic settlement coming up, and then you are there. So this is how they manifest. But Baba says that when you understand that your karmic settlement is not with someone or something, so it's everything out there that's coming is a reflection of your individual karmic burden. So it's your thing. And what's the power of understanding this? The power of understanding this is that if it is your individual karmic account, you don't need anybody to settle it. You have the power to settle it on your own. And this is why Baba says, if you individually follow Shrimad and remember me, just remember me, then don't remember anyone, anything else. Just consider yourself to be a soul and have the aim that I, the soul, have to go back, and my only task, my only point of attention is I am in complete remembrance of Baba all the time. And when you are in remembrance of Baba, Baba says that you, the soul, are connected with the ocean of knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, and power. And this connection does a magical transformation inside you. It starts purifying you. So Baba says that, when you understand that right from the morning, as soon as I get up, my first thing is I sit in complete soul consciousness and in complete remembrance of Baba, to the oblivion of everything around me. Doesn't matter what exists, what doesn't exist. I am a soul, I am in deep love with Baba, and with that love in my heart, I am in remembrance of Baba. Just do that early in the morning as soon as you get up. And all through the day, while working, talking, just keep taking Baba's energy and doing everything. So Baba says, when you start doing this, you will stop yourself from creating more vikarma, okay? Because you will be in a knowledgeful, powerful state. That's one thing. But the most important thing is, remembrance will purify you. And along with that, Baba has given us Shrimat. So Shrimat tells you what to eat, how to talk, how to think, all of that, how to do seva. So Shrimat also purifies you, and remembrance purifies you. So this whole thing that Baba does, coming and giving us all the Shrimat and teaching us how to remember, it's all about purity. So the more you remember, the more you follow Shrimat, what you become is pure. So when you start becoming pure, then what happens is, the influence of vices starts to, diminish. That same Maya, it starts to have less and less effect on you. And this effect cannot be warded off by just wishing it away or pushing it away. This effect can only be warded off by increasing your purity. And the method is Shrimat and remembrance. So your karmic account, you don't have to worry about anything. Just keep doing your thing. Just keep remembering Baba and following Shrimat. And as you do that, your consciousness increases, your purity increases, and then Maya has less and less effect on you. And when that happens, your mind, your buddhi, and your sanskars are powerful. And then you create the thoughts which are not influenced by Maya. So, letting go, it is what it is, it's okay, everything is fine, everybody is just a soul struggling with themselves, nobody is doing anything against me. So these are thoughts which will start to emerge once you reach that purity. I will tell you my personal experience. So, ever since I came into Gyan, and because I've been a good listener and a good student all my Lokik life also, I had the capacity to listen. So, when you listen to the Murli or you listen to classes, what is Baba saying or what is he teaching. And ever since I came into Gyan, I knew from the first day that, Baba is saying you can do everything with love. You don't need to shout, you don't need to raise your voice, you don't need to fight. But it took me 6 years to come to that place where I could actually do everything with love. Why? Because understanding is not enough. You know a lot of things, but then your state of being is so impure that, even if you know it, your intellect, your mind is not working with you. And then there are bizarre ideas, like why should I talk lovingly? They are wrong. Or why should I, I'm just talking, I'm just talking bitterly. Somebody would have beaten up this person. So, I'm being so kind and compassionate by just shouting at this person. This person actually deserves a beating. So you can come up with these kind of thoughts because there is impurity. And then slowly, gradually, as you keep meditating, keep remembering Baba, keep following Srimad, this pure lifestyle, abstinence, everything. You keep doing that. Slowly you come to a place where one day you realize, why am I wasting my time shouting at people? Or why am I wasting my time even thinking about anybody? And then it makes complete sense that you can do everything with love, and then you keep doing it until the rest of your life. So Baba says this is the shift that happens when you remember me. So when you remember me, your mind will be capable of, thinking. Your intellect will be capable of making good decisions. And I will also tell you, there is this thing which I think, is a very important faculty of the soul, that you have broader vision. So, sometimes you have very good intentions, but you just don't understand the consequence of your actions. Yes, let's say, let's say somebody is sleeping in the other room and you're cleaning something in the other room. And in your mind, you are not able to envision that the person sleeping in the other room is getting disturbed because you are pushing things from here to there in this room, and there is noise created because of that. Now you see, you just don't have that level of awareness. And if you don't have that awareness, then you see that other person who is trying to sleep after 18 hours of work is getting so disturbed by it, and obviously that's not good karma, that's causing sorrow to somebody. But maybe you're just doing it because you don't have that awareness. Or if somebody is talking to you, you end up saying things which you don't understand. They are triggering the trauma in the other person. So you're not able to gauge how traumatized the soul is. And you're just saying things out of innocence, but they are triggering trauma in them. So I think, when we keep remembering Baba, what I have noticed is there is this expansion of the intellect. Your intellect becomes broader, and you are able to be very aware that your individual actions are having so many ripple effects, and you are able to discern that, and you are able to reduce your account of giving sorrow by understanding that. And when you perform an individual action, you are able to see its implications in a more broad sense. I'm just talking about this person and that person in the other room, but even when I'm thinking in my private moment also, that thought is going out into the universe, and that vibration is creating Kali Yuga. So we become very aware of these things because your buddhi becomes very sharp, and you start and very subtle also. So you start getting those subtle things also. So Baba says, with this whole remembrance that you do, your mind starts working appropriately, your buddhi starts getting functional, and your buddhi starts telling you this is wastage, this is व्यर्थ, this is negative. It has that discernment, and then it becomes broader and wider. Then you understand the implications of your actions, and you take ownership of it, and your divine sanskars start emerging. So when you have to when you have to settle the karmic accounts, it's very, very easy. You just have to keep following Srimad, keep meditating, keep remembering Baba, and when you keep doing it, these shifts start happening. And according to Srimad, also keep yourself in the maryada, like I don't have to think this is not what Baba has told me in the Murli today. So just keep yourself within that maryada, that will help you not create more vikarma. And then slowly, your heart shifts, everything starts shifting. Okay.